Hello everybody, it is Blue Moonstone, otherwise known as Mariah, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a bunch of cute little floral designs that you can add to your Minecraft world to spice it up a little bit. We are going to get right into this video, and to start off, one of my favorite things to add to my world are custom trees. This is a custom tree I just built with some logs, some slabs and stairs, and a variety of different leaves. You can make this in whatever shape you want. And if you want a more detailed video on how to make custom trees, I can do that for you as well. Here is another little fallen log design. We have some slabs and some stairs over here on the end to make it look like the tree is kind of morphing into the ground, like it's decaying. And I've also added some vines and some moss, and I've bone mealed around it and put a little flower in the back. So something like this just kind of adds a little bit of depth to your world. Maybe you're living in a forest and you want to add something that looks natural but just more elevated. So this version is pretty nice. You can also put leaves on the ground next to it to make it look like the leaves have decayed there as well alongside the tree. And I also put some moss over here on the ground. Here is a more detailed custom tree. I went ahead and did the same kind of dark oak tree trunk. We have some slabs and we have stairs again. And then I just added a bunch of different leaves in a pink and green variety. And then I added some pink concrete and some pink glazed terracotta to add just a little bit more of a funky vibe. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cute. I like that these kind of look like maybe like flowers or like pink leaves in a way. And then I took the wood down and I also put it in the ground to make it look kind of like roots in the ground. Another way to make your world look a little bit more full and put together is to add custom rocks. So here is a custom rock variation that I've built where the rock kind of goes into the ground a little bit. I think this one is pretty cool. We have this bigger rock that has a lot of stairs and slabs in this kind of triangular-ish shape here. Another rock, this one is kind of just a flat rock with some blocks and some stairs and a few slabs. And then we have a bigger version of that right here. So they're pretty simple, but they add a lot of spice, especially if you pair these alongside with the custom trees or next to a log. I think it would look really good. It also looks really good if you put some moss around here and maybe bone meal the ground a little bit. That could look really nice. Another build I really like to add to my worlds are streams. So with stairs and slabs, you can make a really thin stream of water that can be really pretty and you can just kind of walk right over it. I think this looks really nice. I like to use a mixture of stones when I do a build like this. For my stream builds, I really like to do cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and stone. You can also throw some andesite in there and it will look really good. I also went ahead and put some of these little buttons next to it to kind of look like pebbles, and I think it looks really cute, and this can be a really nice way to just elevate your building style, just to add something in there that gives your world more life. I think it is very realistic and it looks really cute, and it's very fun to incorporate it into your builds. Unfortunately, the pond I made froze over, but pretend that this is not ice and instead this is water. This is the kind of outline I like to do for my pond builds. I like to add a little bit of coarse dirt around the edge of the pond, and I like to add some rocks using that same rock palette of the cobblestone, mossy stone, andesite, things like that. You could also use like gray concrete powder, could look really cool in a little build like this. And I also went ahead and put some moss around. And then I also fill that all the way down into the water. As you can kind of see, the ice is ruining it. And then I just went ahead and bone mealed the bottom so we have some grass in there. So it looks less man-made and more natural. You could also do this little stream coming off of a pond or like a little stream coming off of a lake. They can be paired very nicely together and it just works because they're water sources. So here we have some more trees. This is kind of like an enclosed tree design. So maybe if you want to do like a Christmas tree, like this one, I was kind of inspired with the spruce to make a little Christmas tree. This is like the little base of the Christmas tree made with these oak shelves. And then this is a little flower pot that you can make with the oak shelves. Basically, all you do is take the moss block or a grass block and surround it with these shelves, and then you can put whatever plant inside of it that you want. So here I have a tree in this one. This one you could just put outside if you wanted to, or if you wanted to have it in your house, you could put it in your house too. And then I have some different little flowers in here, so you could see how you could turn this into a flower pot pretty easily. Here I have just a basic oak tree. This one is if you don't want to build your own custom trees, but you want your trees to look a little bit better. I like to bone meal around the tree and add like a bush underneath of it. It makes it just look a little bit better. It looks better than just a basic oak tree. You could also add flowers around, like I have a couple little flowers dotted around here. You could also go ahead and add some leaves on the ground now that we have the fallen leaves. It looks a lot better than a basic tree, and you can do this for any tree with any leaf type and anything you want. So now we're going to get into some flower pot designs. This is a little flower pot design that I have. It's just a barrel surrounded by signs, and then we just have a little flower pot on the top. You could do a big flower pot, a little flower pot. You could put whatever flower you want in there, but this is just the basic design. It's a simple little pot to put in your home. Then I have these bigger flower pot designs. These you can also put in your house, but I also like to line these up on pathways. So I think these look really good on the side of like a path or next to like a building outside. But yeah, you can put whatever you want in there. This one I have surrounded by spruce wood. It's just a moss block in the middle. And then you can put whatever flower you want on it. You could put a tree in it if you really wanted to. And then over here, I use these shelves again and some trapdoors for a mixture of textures. And I just put a moss in here with a leaf on the top. And I think this is really cute. It's just like a nice way to spice up your house. If you have space in your house, you don't know what to do with it, you could add a little plant like this. Here's another basic one that is just moss surrounded by trapdoors. And then I just put an azalea bush on here. This one is pretty basic. It's basically the same thing as like that one. It's just the smaller version. So now we have some taller bushes. This one is your basic fence leaf bush. Pretty much everybody knows about this bush, but I figured I'd include it anyway because it is pretty cute. These in a line would make a really nice kind of like hedgeway. Very simple, but it does the trick. Here we have another one. This one's a little bit fancier. We have a big pot with an azalea bush, and we have some leaves on the top, and then this is surrounded, of course, by signs. So this is just a fancier version of this, basically. And this one is kind of just a less fancy version of that one. So we just have a pot with an azalea and some moss on the top, and this makes kind of like a hedge. This could also be a cool thing to put, like if you did one here and then one here, you could make a really cool hedge. And here we have another one. This one is, instead of with the fence bottom, we have a little bamboo stick on the bottom and then two leaves on top, and then this is just another variation. Now, one of my favorite things to add to any build outside are bushes. I love the different leaf textures, and I love adding and mixing different leaves together to make a nice looking full bush. So here we have this bush design. It's basically very triangular. You can't really go wrong with the shape of a bush. You really just gotta like build it up and break it as you see fit. Get creative with it. I really like to make bushes like this and then take the leaves up the side of a building to make it kind of feel very overgrown, and I think that works really well. Here's another version. This one's a smaller bush. This one is an azalea bush with just the azalea leaves. This one is like a bigger pink azalea bush we got some cherry leaves in there, some azalea leaves. Everything's very cute. And then this one is a bunch of different colored leaves with some moss in there to make just a different style of bush. Like, you cannot go wrong with a nice big bush, especially next to like the front of your house, next to a water source, next to any build. Literally, they look so good, and it just makes it feel very realistic. We have a pumpkin design. So I seen this on Pinterest, and they just put a pickle on the top of the pumpkin, and it looks like it has a stem. I thought that's so cute. And so I thought, why don't you do that with a candle, because we have the brown candle. So here we have the two variations of pumpkins. This one is with the pickle on the top, and this one is mine with the candle on the top. And I think it looks really cute. Obviously these are jack-o'-lanterns, but you could see the idea. It's a pumpkin. And then I was thinking about the vines that pumpkins grow on, and I kind of thought that these plants looked a lot like those vines. So I went ahead and added some of these leaves around, and it just makes it look a little pumpkin plant. It's very cute for like a pumpkin patch. You could do this. You could make ones without stems, ones with stems, of course. And yeah, and then I added some vines around them as well to make it seem like they're growing off of this leaf. Then of course, around your pond and your water, this is a really easy cattail design. You've probably seen this on Pinterest. Basically, you just take two panes of glass and put a brown candle on the top, and you can make this however big or small. You can put it in the water and make it come out of the water. You can put it on the side of the water. You can do a lot with these. They elevate a pond really well. I don't know. It's a very subtle thing, but it looks really good. And then lastly, we have a few hanging plant designs. So this is just a fern in a pot. Then I put a leaf on top, and then you hang it down. So that one I think is pretty cool. I like this design. Then of course we have this little one, which is just a little sapling in a pot, and we have the chain hanging down, and then we have a potted flower with the chain hanging down. So that's going to be all of the nature floral designs I have for now, but I want to do more of these videos where I show you little things that you can add to your Minecraft world. So if that's something you would be interested in, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Goodbye.